The orange twin suns of Duroxa dipped low over the canyon ridges, casting long shadows across the dusty village of Noctar. Children raced hover discs through alleyways, their laughter a bright contrast to the sterile silence inside a domed home at the edge of the settlement. Inside, Kaela sat in her wheelchair, her silver-blue eyes fixed on the horizon beyond the glass wall. Her legs, long since useless, rested motionless under a blanket despite the heat. The accident had happened over a decade ago. 10 years, 4 months, and 17 days, to be exact. Time she had spent trapped, not only in her chair but in the pitying gazes of others. Kaela had once been the fastest aerial dancer in Noctar. Her wings, though decorative and too small for flight, shimmered like woven starlight and had earned her fame across the province. Then the platform collapsed during a festival. The fall crushed her spine. For the first few years, there was hope. Duroxan medicine was advanced, but even it had limits. Every operation failed. Eventually, the healers stopped trying. So did her friends. Until the human arrived. He came with the caravan, an outsider named Ethan Dre, known among traders as a tinkerer, an engineer, a relic hunter. The village didn't trust humans, Kaela didn't either, but Ethan was different. He was quiet, polite, and always tinkering with some gadget that buzzed and blinked. She first saw him from her window. He stood near the well, adjusting some filtration device he claimed could purify toxic runoff. The village kids stared at him like he was a wizard. Then, one afternoon, her door chimed. Kaela rarely received visitors. She wheeled herself toward the door, expecting the neighbor's child again, asking to borrow spices. Instead, it slid open to reveal Ethan. "Sorry to intrude," he said, scratching at his brown beard. "I heard. The kids told me. You used to dance." Kaela arched a brow. "A long time ago." Ethan hesitated, then reached into his pack and pulled out a metal brace with flexing joints. "I've been building adaptive tech for injured miners on Eridani B different physiology, but I think maybe it could work for you." Kaela blinked, stunned. "You want to experiment on me?" He laughed, softly. "No. I want to help. But only if you let me." She didn't answer at first. But that night, she stared at the ceiling long after the moon's rose. She imagined dancing again. Moving. Running. Not just existing. She called him the next morning. The next few weeks passed in a haze of metal, wires, and calibration. Ethan set up a mobile workshop in her home, careful not to disrupt her routines. He asked questions constantly, about Duroxan neural pathways, her muscle memory, her pain levels. She was impressed by his professionalism. He never pitied her, never made her feel broken. Just different. Each day, he strapped prototype limbs to her legs. The first ones were clunky, heavy, barely responding to neural inputs. But with each iteration, they improved. The frame grew lighter, the actuators more responsive. By the 3rd week, she could flex her toes. By the 4th, she stood for the first time in 10 years. Tears welled in her eyes the moment her feet touched the floor. Ethan steadied her with both hands, his expression unreadable. "Do you feel that?" he asked. She nodded, her voice catching. "Like thunder in my bones." Her muscles had atrophied, but the exomusculature supported her, blending seamlessly with her nervous system. It wasn't just tech, it was art. Ethan spent long hours fine-tuning the feedback systems, programming gesture responses, even adding stability wings for balance. Kaela worked just as hard, enduring pain, exhaustion, and overwhelming emotion. Still, she pressed on. She walked across her living room. She walked across her street. And then, she danced. The entire village turned out the day she took the stage again. The canyon amphitheater had long since been retired. No one had danced there since her accident. But word had spread quickly. Kaela was dancing again. The lights dimmed. The crowd fell silent. And then she appeared, silhouetted against the twin moons, her body outlined by the soft glow of her stabilizers. Her legs hummed faintly with energy as she rose into motion. Every movement was fluid. Her arms swept with grace, her feet stamped with rhythm. The metal beneath her skin did not hinder, it enhanced. She moved like a storm given form. Children cheered. Elders wept. When she finished, the silence lingered, then erupted into thunderous applause. Ethan stood in the back, arms folded, a rare smile tugging at his lips. Later, as she approached him, still glowing from the adrenaline, she whispered, "You gave me my life back." He shook his head. "No. You took it back. I just handed you the tools." A few months passed. Kaela no longer needed a wheelchair. She began teaching again, young dancers flocking to her studio. But she also traveled with Ethan, helping him design tech for others. Limbs for wounded soldiers. Interfaces for blind workers. She had found a purpose beyond performance. During a summit on Alaris Station, she delivered a speech that would echo across the galaxies. Disability is not the end of movement. With the right tools and the right hearts, there is no limit to what we can reclaim. She and Ethan became partners, not just in work, but in something deeper. Their bond, forged in wires and resilience, grew stronger with each project, each challenge. One evening, aboard their shared vessel, Kaela stood at the observation deck. The stars glittered like diamonds across black velvet. Ethan stepped beside her. "We've come a long way." She turned to him, smiling. From a dusty village with 2 suns, to dancing among stars. He laughed. "Where to next?" She looked out, eyes alight. "Wherever someone needs to walk again."